So you can't defend it. Well, anyway, Cherie, we had to let our blood pressure go down here a little bit. We had some other interesting things crop up.
Some good news.
Yeah, and Mark, before we go, and I really want to say, too, it's not that we don't rejoice because this stuff happens.
No.
The reason our pressure is up because we're sad, we're downhearted. I hate every time a pastor fall, whether he been messing with a prostitute. I hate it when I heard about some pastor came out because he had sex with some men. And I hate it when I find a person who invites into his pulpit somebody who is just as ungodly and say it to your face.
Right.
I feel sorry for these pastors when I feel sorry for Rick. I really do.
Absolutely.
And I think people really need to understand that.
They're living in deception.
Yeah.
A major deception.
Right. And if they can be deceived about this, they can be deceived about anything.
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Well, your friends at Susan G. Komen, it's Run for the Cure Breast Cancer Foundation. They have put out a website that has 900 studies on possible causes for breast cancer. And in any of those 900 studies, they did not list the possible link to abortion and breast cancer. And I don't know why they keep overlooking that. They donate to Planned Parenthood. There's some kind of something going on there.
I know exactly why, because I've talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a radically pro-abortion organization. And the thing that bothers me is that we have pro-lifers around this country who participate in this Run for the Cure, give money to Susan G. Komen, which Komen then turns around and gives to Planned Parenthood. And it is disgraceful. I think it is fraud on the American people that we send taxpayer money to these people. They put out a website that has 900, and they don't claim that any of them are true. They're just, these are potential possibilities.
Safe than sorry, possible.
Right, and a man was quoted, a representative from there was quoted saying it's better to be safe than sorry, but they won't even look at the possibility of an abortion and breast cancer.
No. It's not that they don't look at it. They reject it.
Mm-hmm.
They openly say there is absolutely no truth to this, that there's a potential link between abortion and breast cancer.
And none of us like breast cancer, and I've got friends that have had it, and I've had friends that have lost their lives to breast cancer. It's a tragic disease, and we need to find a cure, but we need to look at all possible solutions, and one link that we have that's absolute is the link between breast cancer and early abortions.
I'd like to know their agenda, why they
they got an agenda.
Anyway,
Speaking of agendas,
that's what politically correct. Kill.
Yes,
right,
that's
exactly.
right.
Being politically correct.
Your buddies, Clinton and Carter.
Your buddies.
I'm not claiming them.
Former presidents Clinton and Carter want to take away folks from the rigid, Carter's quoting here, I'm quoting him, says, increasingly rigid creed of the Southern Baptist Convention, meaning anti-homosexual rights, pro-life, normal things that the Bible says to steer clear of.
And for 2,000 years.
Yes, that's right. But these folks, and by the way, Clinton says Carter's doing it, and I'm just going to go be his cheerleader. They want to make their own denomination, would you call it?
They're going to try to suck off people out of the Southern Baptist Convention.
Mm-hmm.
And Clinton has no moral authority to stand on anybody's.
Well, let me tell you something, though. What this proves is something I've said here before. We can sit here and say all we want to that Clinton's a moral degenerate, which we all know he is. Carter is every bit as bad as Bill Clinton, and he always was. Sure. And he always was.
He's just older and quieter or something.
Well, we had another interesting thing.
This is good news. We had really good news. We had a very kind email that was sent to us by a young lady that found our website doing some research, and we have the privilege of having her with us to tell her
She
story.
was considering abortion.
And she found a Life Dynamics website, and while she was doing research, but the night before her appointment. So we want to talk to her and welcome her. Stephanie, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome, and thank you for what you've done, and thank you for your nice words about ProLifeAmerica.com. And tell us a little bit about how this came to be. Your story.
Okay. Well, last year at this time, I was pregnant, and when I first took the pregnancy test, I went into that panic stage, and I just totally freaked out. And then I didn't know what to do, and I thought the only thing possible to do at the time was have an abortion. And I thought a baby would just ruin my life, and I would have to quit school. Everybody's going to look down upon me. What am I going to do? And so I looked into abortion and the clinics, and so I scheduled an appointment at Planned Parenthood. And And then the night before the appointment, you know, they give you instructions on what to do. And but before I decided to do anything that they instruct you to do, like to bathe and stuff like that, I decided to look more into it, the procedure, how they do it. And I came across your website, and I saw the pictures of the babies after they've been aborted and the ultrasound pictures, and I just realized that, hey, this is a life, this is a soul, and, you know, and he or she is a part of me, and it's not the baby's fault. And I don't care what anybody says. I mean, it's a living soul.
So you did not have the abortion, and
no, I didn't.
Did you place the baby for adoption, or did you keep the baby?
I decided to keep the baby.
Right. And how is that going?
That is cool. The baby is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I mean, he just brings so much joy to my life. I don't care how hard it is being a single mom. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, what in that website made you change your mind?
Seeing the pictures of the aborted babies and seeing ultrasound pictures and of the babies while they're still inside the womb. And then, I mean, immediately after I saw that, I felt sick to my stomach. I just...
You know what's interesting about this?
How can this happen?
Something that's very interesting about this, we've talked about this before. You'll never meet a young woman who did what Stephanie did, who says, I researched it, I decided not to have an abortion. You'll never meet a woman who did that, who says, I now regret it and wish I'd had an abortion. You'll never see one.
Right. And you know, Stephanie, there are many people that speak against the use of these graphic photographs. In fact, Operation Rescue runs a fleet of large billboard vehicles, and we run across America. We go to large sporting events and where people gather, and we show these absolutely graphic and horrible, truly horrible pictures of what happens to babies after an abortion. But what would you say to even pro-lifers that would tell me, or Mark, or Cherie, or Dr. Hunter, not to use these photographs?
The photographs make a dramatic difference in the woman's decision, I think, to choose between whether or not she wants to have an abortion or whether or not she wants to keep the baby. Because if any woman sees those pictures, if she has any kind of a heart or any kind of a soul, you know, she's going to change her mind. And, you know, isn't that what America's all about? Choosing the right to choose of what we want to do, being able to see both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Well, listen, Stephanie, we sure appreciate your joining us, and I appreciate the nice words you had to say about our website, and we really admire women like you who do this, and like you said, it's not easy being a single mom, and we can all appreciate that. But the rewards of having that baby have to outweigh all the
difficulties.
And Stephanie, I just want to just say, even for the rest of us, we appreciate you taking the time to actually find out. Yes. Not just staying ignorant, but really say, if I'm going through this, I want to know more about it. You're brave.
Thank you very much for being with us, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you. That is such a... You got to have those kind of stories once in a while to keep you going in this battle.
That's the reward.
Right.
That's what we work for.
I'd like to know what they told her at the clinic the night before when she scheduled, if they told her any of the information she found on our website.
Oh, no. And I'll tell you what, if she had told the people at Planned Parenthood, I think tonight I'll go to the Life Dynamics website and just give some information, they would have told her not to go there. Yeah. I promise you.
And Mark, you know, I say this, she's brave because a lot of people are too coward to look at the pictures.
Oh, absolutely.
They're too coward. And I noticed one thing she said, it made me sick to my stomach. I mean, so it wasn't like the things hit her and she said, oh, they disturbed her. Yeah. Right. They disturbed her, and that disturbing was enough to click her conscience.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we've got another situation going on up in Illinois. That this is one of these kind of frustrating situations. The Illinois Family Institute Executive Director David Smith is here with us by phone to talk about a legislation, some legislation that happened up in Illinois. It's kind of unbelievable. And David, are you there?
I am. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We just have a couple of minutes here. David, tell us what went on up there. This is typical of the pro-life movement continually shooting itself in the foot. Tell us what happened there.
Okay, well, both the House and the Senate in the Illinois General Assembly approved a bill that would appropriate $5 million for the creation of 20 new school health centers. Now, we already have 48 health centers in school districts across the state of Illinois. This will be another 20. Now, a lot of these school health centers provide great services such as physical exams, asthma care, diabetes care, all those things, sport injuries, twist your ankle in gym, you go see the nurse. But don't deny that some of these school health clinics, and this depends on the local school administrators, but many of them do distribute birth control, condoms, and even provide abortion referrals to young girls who are in crisis pregnancies.
Okay, so surely this bill went down to defeat, right?
No, it did not. Unfortunately, some of our pro-life Democrats and Republicans in the state, especially from downstate, didn't see the connection. They didn't make the connection because their school administrators certainly wouldn't do this. They wouldn't allow abortion referrals and birth control. So, therefore, they wanted to bring home a school clinic for their health clinic to their school districts, in their districts.
David, let me ask you a question. If the pro-lifers had, the people, not pro-lifers, the people who claim to be pro-life, and there's a vast distinction there. If the people who claim to be pro-life had not supported this legislation, would it have passed?
No, it would not have passed. We needed, in the Senate, it got 32 votes. It needed only 30. We could have stopped it with two pro-lifers or those who claim to be pro-life lawmakers who said, no, we're not going for this.
So in other words, we've increased the funding to clinics that provide abortion, referrals, birth control, condoms to children because pro-lifers voted for this legislation.
That is correct.
Can they claim, and I know they can't claim ignorance because I have a copy of a document that you sent around to all these people saying vote no on SB 715, School Health Center Act, and it's got your logo at the bottom, so they knew it had credibility. You sent this to all these people?
Yes, sir. We have two lobbyists in Springfield, Illinois, and they worked this bill hard, and we called for grassroots action as well, and they received hundreds of emails, phone calls, and faxes, all the lawmakers in Springfield. So you're right. They cannot claim ignorance.
I don't know what you say, other than you got to get the pro-life people up there, David, and get them to understand that all these so-called pro-lifers who voted for this need to be gone in the next election cycle.
Because they're politicians. This is about earmarks, bringing home the bacon back to their home communities, and they can come back in the next election cycle and say, hey, I got this and I got that. I brought the money back home so that I can be reelected.
Absolutely.
I wonder, do parents realize their children are now going to be taken to get an abortion without them even knowing anything about it?
Absolutely. And in Illinois, you don't have a parental notification law that's being enforced. They have one, but it's not being enforced.
Right.
And
that's correct.
And this is another one of these things, and we're just about out of time, so we don't have time to open up another Pandora's box here. This bill is going to help the older men who are preying on these young girls for sex. Yeah. This is going to profit them. That's the people who's going to gain the most from this.
And if anything, this is sending a mixed message to young people. People talking about, well, we need these health clinics. No, you don't. You need a health clinic at a real health clinic in the neighborhood communities and everything else, but not in a school system.
Right.
Not in a school, because they're already doing too many things.
Right.
But abortion's not health care.
Yeah, not only that, these students are not learning anything.
Yeah.
But they have to get parental signatures to get their ears pierced.
Right.
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to point out is this usurps the parents' right to oversee the well-being of their children. Getting an abortion referral shouldn't preempt a parent being able to counsel their young child from going ahead and making a devastating choice.
Absolutely. Well, David, stay after them up there and make sure that the pro-lifers in Illinois know that these guys, I don't care what they say in the next election cycle, they're going to trot around and say, oh, yeah, I'm pro-life, the unborn have to be protected. Don't buy it. Don't be deceived by these people. These are wolves in sheep's clothing right here.
That's right.
Well, keep up the good work, David.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Once more, we just continue to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Right. And sell the babies down the river.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thanks. We'll be right back. Planned Parenthood defenders are now trying to reinvent the organization's image